Did you know most people understand power the wrong way? We are taught that power protects, leads, and builds nations. But history shows something different. Every empire, every system, and every famous leader followed the same rule. Power always rewrites the story after wins. Behind every celebrated moment, there are decisions that never made it into textbooks. Decisions that shaped millions of lives quietly. Hit the subscribe button as we unveil hidden history. Now imagine a city long ago. Stone buildings, wide roads, crowds moving every day under the sun. It could be Rome. It could be an ancient kingdom. It could even be a modern nation. The place changes. The pattern does not. At the center of this place is power. Not loud power, not dramatic power, quiet power. Power that sits in rooms without windows. Power that signs papers instead of swinging swords. Power that decides who matters and who disappears. At that time, people believed their leaders were chosen for a reason. They believed strength meant protection. They believed authority meant wisdom, just like we do today. And that belief made power comfortable. Because when people trust power too much, they stop questioning it. They stop watching closely. They stop asking why. That is when history begins to change shape. When wars ended, people celebrated. When borders were drawn, people adapted. When new leaders rose, people hoped. But behind those moments were choices made quietly. Choices that decided who would suffer, who would be remembered, and who would be erased. Power understood something very early. People forget pain faster than they forget victory. So power kept the victory and buried the pain. This mattered because history was not just memory. History became instruction. What people were taught shaped how they obeyed. What people were not taught shaped what they accepted. In many empires, power learned that it did not need to control everyone. It only needed to control the story. If the story said the leader was brave, people forgave cruelty. If the story said the system was necessary, people accepted suffering. If the story said nothing at all, silence did the work. This is where things become uncomfortable. Because this part is not ancient. It is human. Power did not only live in palaces. It lived in systems, in rules, in habits. It lived in people who said nothing because speaking felt risky. It lived in people who benefited and chose comfort. It lived in people who thought someone else would fix it. If that sounds familiar, it should. Every time period had smiling moments, parades, speeches, symbols of progress. And every time period had quiet rooms where real decisions were made. History rarely shows us those rooms. Why? Because power learned that mystery protects it. The less people understand, the safer power becomes. So power simplified history. It removed details. It softened language. It replaced hard truths with clean words. Mistakes became strategy. Cruelty became order. Silence became peace. Over time, people stopped asking what was missing. They accepted what was given. This mattered because generations grew up learning only half the story. And half a story is powerful. Half a story makes you loyal without understanding. Half a story makes you proud without context. Half a story makes you repeat patterns without noticing. And power loves patterns that repeat. In different places, in different times, with different faces. The clothes changed. The titles changed. The flags changed. But the behavior stayed the same. Power always protected itself first. It always explained itself second. And it rarely apologized. Not because power is evil by default, but because power fears exposure. Exposure removes control. And control is what power values most. This is why history feels clean when real life was messy. This is why heroes feel perfect when humans never are. This is why entire groups vanish from records. Not because nothing happened, but because someone decided it should not be remembered. If you've ever felt like something about history didn't add up, you're not alone. That feeling is awareness waking up. Because once you notice what is missing, you start seeing patterns everywhere. You notice how stories are framed. Who gets credit? Who gets blamed? Who is never mentioned? And you realize something important. Power does not need everyone to agree. It only needs enough people to stop asking questions. That was true centuries ago, and it is true now. This is why understanding this matters today. Because power still works the same way. It still rewards silence. It still reshapes narratives. It still hides behind complexity. The difference is the tools. Today, power moves faster. Stories spread wider. And forgetting happens quicker. But the core remains unchanged. People who control systems shape outcomes. People who control stories shape belief. And belief is the strongest form of control. This is not meant to make you angry. It is meant to make you aware. History is not about blaming the past. It is about recognizing patterns. Once you see how power behaves, you stop being surprised by it. You stop taking stories at face value. You start listening for what is not said. And that changes how you move through the world. Because the most important lessons in history were never written clearly. They were hidden in decisions, in silence, in repetition. Power always leaves clues. It just hopes you're too distracted to notice. If you stay curious, history opens up, not as a list of dates, but as a mirror. And when you understand the past clearly, you gain something power can't take easily: awareness. Because history does not just tell us where we came from. It warns us about what keeps happening. And once you truly see that, history will never look the same again.